Chapter 1: The Mist of Hollowmere. Bernard Tomislav had spent years chasing stories buried in forgotten villages. But nothing had prepared him for Hollowmere. The mountain road twisted and shivered under a thick, rolling fog. It swallowed headlights and erased the edges of the world. His car coughed and sputtered. The engine jerked before it died with a shuddering finality. The forest pressed in from all sides, silent except for the faint rustle of leaves. Leaves that never moved. When he stepped out, the mist parted just enough to reveal figures among the trees. They were motionless, masked, and pale against the dense white. Wooden masks, carved with antlers, spirals, and strange runes, covered their faces. Their hands clutched the masks to their chests. Their eyes, unseen, seemed to follow him. No greeting. No movement. Just silence. Bernard's pulse picked up, a faint hum in his ears. The fog shifted. And when he blinked, the figures had not moved. But he had the growing sense that they were waiting for him. Expectant. Patient. Unmoving sentinels of a boundary he had unknowingly crossed. Chapter 2: The Guest House. The villagers led him wordlessly to a low, timbered guest house. Its beams leaned like old bones under the weight of years. The air smelled of damp wood and burning wax. The owner, an elderly woman with a hawk-like face, welcomed him only through a slit in the door. Her eyes were wide and urgent. She whispered a single rule: do not go outside after sunset. Bernard tried a joke. She did not smile. Her fingers gripped the candle tighter, and the room seemed to shrink. Technology had no place here. His phone displayed only black screens. The signal was non-existent. The car, just a few hours old in his mind, felt abandoned. At night, as he tried to sleep, the forest came alive with a droning chant. It circled the guest house like a living thing. Hollow yet rhythmic, pulsing through the walls and floor. Bernard pressed his hands over his ears. But it did not stop. The chanting seeped into his chest, into his own heartbeat. And for the first time, he understood the warning in the woman's eyes. Chapter 3: The First Effigy. Morning brought little relief. On the bedside table, a small wooden effigy rested, crudely carved, but unmistakably his likeness. The tilt of the head, the angle of the shoulders, even the crease in the brow. Whoever had made it had observed him closely, studied him as a sculptor would a model. Bernard carried it downstairs. The villagers avoided his gaze, some muttering prayers, others touching their masks as he passed. No one spoke. The silence was oppressive. In a dusty corner of the guest house, he discovered a journal wedged under a floorboard, yellowed with age. Its owner had been another traveler, long missing. The last entry read simply, "I am chosen. The forest remembers my name." That night, another effigy appeared at the foot of his bed. This one was far more detailed. Its hollow eyes seemed to peer directly at him. The door was locked. The windows were latched. Bernard touched the effigy cautiously. Cold. Silent. Observing. Chapter 4: The Returning. The villagers spoke of the returning, though only in whispers, and only when Bernard's back was turned. It was a ritual to appease something ancient in the forest, something that existed beyond the realm of ordinary understanding. Totems marked the paths, carved with faces, spirals, antlers. Each seemed to shift when he wasn't looking, bending subtly in the corner of his vision. On the eve of the rite, the forest itself seemed to lean closer. The chanting rose in volume, vibrating the ground beneath his feet. The guest house shivered with the sound, candle flames twisting and snapping. Bernard dared to peer out a window. The villagers were gathering in the clearing beyond the tree line, masks clutched to their chests, torches shaking in their hands. They moved silently, inexorably, drawn toward the center where a towering antlered effigy loomed. Bernard's skin prickled. That effigy was not just wood. It was a vessel, a presence, something waiting. Chapter 5: The Forest Remembers. As darkness fell, Bernard felt an invisible weight pressing in from the forest. His name was on the wind, stretched and twisted in a susurrus of leaves and roots. He tried to move, but the air itself seemed viscous, slowing his steps, bending his perception. In the clearing, the villagers formed a circle, leaving space for the effigy's presence to breathe. Bernard's heart hammered, echoing the rhythmic chant that now seemed to pulse from the ground itself. Shadows shifted. Roots moved beneath the underbrush, curling and uncurling with deliberate intention. Every tree, every stone, every carved totem seemed aware of him. He tried to retreat, but the path he had taken dissolved into mist. Each turn brought him back to the clearing. The chanting intensified. A chorus of voices, not entirely human. And then, he saw it. The antlered effigy quivered, its hollow eyes beginning to form faces. Countless faces, each a distorted echo of human memory. Chapter 6: The Chosen. A hand gripped his wrist. Cold. Firm. He turned to see the villagers, their masks like pale moons under torchlight. They guided him forward, almost reverently. The effigy in the center pulsed with light and shadow, roots and branches writhing like serpents. A voice, broken and ancient, spoke from its hollow chest. Not words as he knew them, but syllables shaped from wind and wood. And threaded through the sound was unmistakably his name. Bernard froze. The forest seemed to breathe him in. He tried to resist, but every instinct urged him forward. Drawn to the center, his fingers brushed the effigy. Its bark was warm, alive. The faces in the wood shifted, mouths moving, whispering secrets he could not fully hear. He realized with a shudder. The forest did not want him to leave. It wanted him to remember. It wanted him to become part of its endless memory. Chapter 7: Dawn in Hollowmere. By sunrise, the clearing was empty. The villagers had returned to their homes. Torches were reduced to stubs, the fog curling in the trees. Bernard Tomislav was gone. Only a single wooden mask, carved in meticulous detail to match his face, hung on the gate to the village. The road down the mountain revealed his abandoned car. Engine warm. Keys in the ignition. As though he had just left. No footprints. No evidence of struggle. Just absence. The forest waited. Totems along the path seemed to watch. Travelers would later claim they heard faint whispers, carried by the wind. Voices stretched thin between branches. Some swore they glimpsed the faint outline of a man, wandering among the shadows. His shape human, yet impossibly wrong. Hollowmere had remembered its chosen, and it would remember him forever.